everybody, welcome to another rapid speedrun game where we have the black pieces against Abadiz, who's almost rated 1600. So let's see how a 1600 Lichess faces the Pirc defense. He defends his pawn, which is a good start, and he just calmly develops. We fianchetto, and we're ready to castle. He brings out the bishop, we castle, we have the starting position. He makes a move with the same piece again, so two knight moves. What does it threaten? Nothing. What is the drawback? I can take it and ruin his pawn structure, and now he can't play e5 because the pawn moved. So now we have easy development. We can get our bishop out, we can get our knight out, no problem. I want to start though with c6. I'm going to try to just break down his center completely since we have the opportunity to. So he takes. You can bring a pawn toward the center. That's not a bad move. You can also take with the knight. That's not a bad move. So I'm going to just take with the knight as it comes with an immediate threat on the pawn, and he protects it. Fine. Now you could pin the knight. Acceptable move. You could try to fianchetto maybe, but let's just be very simple. Let's go. We already have the opportunity to develop, so let's not spend an extra turn being fancy. And of course, once he kicks you, you can't really put it here unless you intend on trading. Otherwise, it's a waste of a turn. So we take. So he has the bishop pair, but we have perfectly great position. You know, no weaknesses. It's harmonious, easy development for our pieces. So we're fine with that. He does have this one central space advantage with the pawn. So we wonder if e5, playing in the center, trying to equalize central space, if that's a move. Let's see. If he takes, well, I guess we take with the pawn, and now we have the central space advantage. If we push and he pushes, well, then he blocks the diagonal for his queen, so our b7 pawn can never be hit. And we can simply retreat with an attack. He'll solidify, but we have this nice central structure. So I do like pushing e5, not letting him take over the center. And now I mentioned this, but we could go home and reroute it to c5. Also, if we go this way, this supports f5. So yeah, actually with this pawn structure, we don't have to, but f5 is an idea, you know, playing on this side of the board. So let's bring it to e7 to support f5. I'm sure there's some ideas where you can put it on c5, but we'll play this way. And f5, you know, he can't even take advantage of this diagonal because he has the pawn here. So I think there's no need to waste any time. f5 comes with a huge threat. Also, his pawn is, you know, might be able to be captured, although even if you can win it, there are scenarios where you don't want to because then it unleashes his pieces and the stability of your attack goes away. So he moves the piece, but we're not, you know, he's staring at his own pawn, and he's blocking the c pawn, so it's not a good move. You could throw in this move, it's tempo. We could throw in rook c8, it's tempo. I'm going to throw in rook c8 as it's a developing tempo move. That's crazy. I thought he was going to retreat, but instead he pushes the pawn, which severely weakens the dark squares, the diagonal that I'm about to take control of. And I can still kick it in the future with this pawn at some point. So it's not a good move. But But I think immediately let's hit the queen and open the bishop, another tempo move. It looks quite strong. And black's position looks great. Black is definitely better. He moves his queen forward, targeting this pawn, but forgetting about the c pawn. Now we can take that with a threat on the rook, so that looks strong. We don't only have the fianchetto square. You can also one day go here if necessary, or here, you know. You got to stay flexible. So he moves the rook, fine. Our bishop is kind of vulnerable, not vulnerable, but exposed in his territory. Maybe we should just bring it back now that we're up material, like a consolidating move. If you hit the queen, queen probably goes here. But I want to force that so that I can go to g7 with tempo. Like if I just go to g7, it's his turn. But I want to bring my bishop back to g7 and have it be my turn. So if he doesn't go to h6 and he goes somewhere else, well then I don't need to bring my bishop back for, you know, defensive, in a defensive position because his queen's not there. So it's even better in this position. So he moves his queen back. And now I was thinking a6 b5 is an idea to open up line for the rook. Queen development. Kind of just want to keep it simple with the low time. I really like black's position. I like these closed types of structures where you have the control. And he tries to prevent my b5, which makes some sense. Can't really blame him. I kind of want to get my queen in the game. I want it to be doing something. So maybe this is an avenue. Although if I go here and he fianchettos, then I can't really get it there. It's kind of just a weird route. Also this knight, there's no point in pressuring this because I'm never going to take it. And I think it's more important to reroute the knight actually. There are these maneuvers. There are these maneuvers. I wonder if there are these maneuvers. You know what, maybe. I know I wasn't looking at it, but maybe I should have been. The e-pawn's a little weak. Okay, he doesn't target it. He goes and targets the bishop with the fianchetto. Can we throw in e3, hitting the queen? Takes, 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 takes. Not yet. I think we need more juice. A little more juice in the position. I say we take the bishop just because we can't defend it with our queen. And so there's no, there's no way to get a piece there. So it's just weird. And if he takes with the queen, he's no longer pressuring these pawns, which I like. And although he's on this diagonal, my queen's going to get there. Because now I get the knight out of the way with queen f6 to come. And I have play with these f and e pawns. I'm going to move my rook here. And he doesn't have equivalent play on this side. Also, we're up a pawn. So it's not just a good position, it's we're up material. Now he bypasses, which makes these pawns even stronger. Although he's trying to deflect the knight, but that gives me good squares. I can't go here, but I definitely can go here. And this is an outpost. Knights love outposts. Knight h4. He can't kick it. I'm forever by his king. Not a good decision necessarily by him. I wonder, I didn't even look at queen h4. Probably not working, so let's see what he does. We are running out of time. Okay, he pushes past to stop our knight, but that's a free pawn with check. He sacks a rook for the strong knight. And now we're just up a lot of material. He's going for this. I want to get my queen in, as previously mentioned, while he takes the pawn. Now I can maybe centralize it on the dark squares with check. Now my queen is very active, just what I wanted. His bishop is a pawn. He goes for the trade, which is of course good for us. We can now occupy the only open file, which he tries to trade. We occupy it further with a check. We solidify our connected pass pawn, and now we win the game automatically. This chain is on, well, first, I mean, he just hung material, but this chain is on dark squares, and it's connected past, so he can't target it with his bishop, and so you auto lose the game. He's just targeting, doing random stuff. He doesn't really have anything else to do, and we can do whatever we want. The easiest thing to do is to sacrifice your rook for his bishop. Wait, is this checkmate? Well, that's why you don't walk into your opponent's territory like that, but I wasn't intending on winning with the checkmate like that, but if he lets me. Unexpected, but welcome. So we play the Pirc defense. And 95% accuracy, but we do have a mistake that drops the evaluation at some point. So let's go reach that point. Anyway, we castle, we have our starting position. I don't think this is a good move by him, because we get to ruin his pawn structure, and for no reason. I immediately attack the stuff that's on my side of the board. And black's, I'd already rather be black. Development, center. Force move, completely equal game. Nobody has an advantage. Just outplay the other person from here. I really like e5, striking in the center. If you put on the engine, you probably have other moves, but so for example, rook c8, rook e8, d5, and e5. All of these are playable moves, but I really like the practicality of e5. I think this is, out of all those moves, this one will give you the best and easiest game. So he pushes past, and now we prepare f5. We play f5, controlling the center, gaining space, and creating threats. Development for free. Then he makes this terrible move. A free improving move. Computer says this is a mistake because we can take the free pawn amongst other moves, but yeah, let's take the free pawn. And here is my mistake. It says my one mistake of the game. Right now we're -3, and after my move it's -1.5. So I lose half of our advantage by retreating the bishop and hitting the queen, because there was this one opportunity to go b5. Hold on, without putting it on the board, if I go b5, which I was looking at earlier to deflect the bishop from my rook, but here I wasn't thinking about it because my bishop's on the c file. But let's say I go there and he takes the pawn. Oh, it's just to win the central, the d pawn. But I mentioned earlier I don't really want to take that pawn because it kind of unlocks his pieces, gives him a way to play down the d file. So I move my pawn, he takes it. I take the central pawn, hitting his queen. He moves his queen somewhere. I probably have good follow-ups because it's my turn. That's why. Let's just see what the engine wants. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen somewhere. Now I get the bishop back with tempo, which is what I was looking for. Queen somewhere. Now it's my turn. Ah, and the move is knight c3. Okay, so this is just a long variation that I guess wins an exchange somehow if he takes the pawn. He could also retreat, but then you got a free move and you still hang the pawn. So okay, so b5 was a good tactical shot that we missed. So let's turn off the engine since the rest of the game is, pretty good. So here's our miss. We missed taking the free central pawn. Now I wonder why does this ruin it? Because we're hitting the queen, right? So for example, if you go b5 now and he's protecting the pawn. Got it. So even though this is a free improving move, he gets to improve in return. He doesn't have to go to queen h6. He could protect the pawn, which ruins the tactical shot. Okay, so that's nuances for you. Okay, so we still have a much better position. We missed our -3, but we're still -1.5. And let's play this position. We play a6, threatening b5, not to win the central pawn, because again, I really don't want to take that, even if it's available. I mentioned that once. If you can win an exchange after that, that's different. But for the pawn itself, I don't want to unlock this d point. I think it's like what's holding my position together. It's what's giving me my advantage in a way. Yeah, so I just wanted to make the bishop go back and gain space for free and unlock my rook's infiltration. That's what I was going for. He stops it, and I'm supposed to be playing on this side of the board anyway. So let's see what the engine says. The blue arrow for like a millisecond f4, and then it disappeared off the screen. What the heck? Okay, so weird king moves, like king f7. What? Anyway, okay, so improve the queen, rook f7, and if I make my move, it's the same evaluation. So it's just as good as, I don't know, king f7 and king g7. It's more practical, and it's a lot scarier for your opponent to see on the board. He goes here, which is, it looks like a natural move, and it says -2. They want him to bring his queen to this very unnatural e1 square, blocking in your rook. But as I mentioned when I made the move, my e4 pawn is a little weak, so they want him to target it immediately because I don't really have a way to defend it. I have to push. I have to keep pushing. I have to play extremely dynamically once he targets me. So f3 to try to say, okay, I'll lose the pawn, but I get active play on your king. He takes this. You take this. He'll take this. You develop. He's up a pawn. But your position's better, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't really have much to play for. He has to try to hold. So I go here. He doesn't target the pawn. We trade, which looks counterintuitive probably to a lot of you. Why would you give up the bishop that's on this diagonal and let his queen take over the diagonal? It is the best move in the position, and like if I could get my queen to f3 right now, I would play that, but I can't. And if he takes, then I unlock the d pawn, and now he has an idea to play for, which is push the d pawn, play down the d file. So I get rid of it. I get his queen away from my pawns, because for example, if I wanted to play at knight f5, I would be hanging an f pawn. Now, not hanging an f pawn. So I put it here on purpose. Now I play knight f5, and I can contest the diagonal anyway. I'm up material, so what's the problem? He forces my knight to an outpost, and it's -5. See how strong these pawns are side by side? -5. I'm not up -5 points of material. And I have 3 of my pieces on the back rank, but they're heavies, so that's not bad necessarily. Only minor piece right by his king, supporting the pawns. Perfect. Free material, improving a piece, improving a piece for free. Free stuff because trades are wins. Improving a piece to the center. Free stuff because trades are wins. Taking the open file, solidifying the pawn structure, and just easy, super easy conversion. So even with a missed tactical shot in the opening, 95% wins us the game in a very nice fashion. So hopefully you can see some ideas with pushing the F and E pawn side by side as black, attacking from the black side. Good luck in your chess.